Miracle Man. Here is a real true story from the beginning to the end. To some it is quite a mystery how I ever got on the mend. I started off one morning in my private plane, not knowing for a minute that I may never come back again. When I started off, I really thought I knew how I would return to live my whole life through. But things never seem to happen the way you think they should. And I found that out soon enough when I thought I was gone for good. My plane, it hit a power line after taking me well off course. Looking back at it all now, I had no time for remorse. They dragged me from the plane, thinking that I was dead. When I found that I was alive, they rushed me to a hospital bed. The hospital staff were quite negative and said how slim my chances were. They told both my wife and sister that they were so unsure. I could not walk, I could not talk, I couldn't even speak. I could not eat or move a limb. In fact, I was very weak. So they gave me an operation to fuse my vertebrae. No one thought I'd live through that. But again, what could they say? My sister and my wife had this brilliant idea, a way to tell them what I thought and making things quite clear. I blinked to use the alphabet, and I blinked to say yes or no. My family thought of this routine, so I had to give it a go. People are made to think negatively throughout their entire life. I was not going to be like them after all my suffering and strife. After all, I was a businessman. No one should think that way. But alas, so many people do in this day and age. At first, without them knowing, my lungs I tried to move, praying that sooner or later something would improve. After days and days of trying, I felt I may be getting somewhere. Just trying to move my lungs to give them a little air. I told the nurse who blinking that one day I would shake the doctor's hand. They thought I was quite unrealistic with everything I had planned. Just 3 weeks after the accident, it was Charlottesville I was sent. No one really understood how much my recovery meant. Although they did not know it, my breathing was now a sign that my lungs were just starting to work. So I felt nothing was going to decline. I had so many x-rays. It's hard to figure them all out. But the doctors still wondered how I lived. And they were still left in doubt. They then called me the Miracle Man because of what they believed. How negativity can overcome you and can make one quite naive. They fitted me with a halo vest to put around my head. It sounded very heavenly, though it was more like hell instead. My breathing was slowly progressing. I felt I should now try to eat. My whole life depended on it to get right back on my feet. I had listened to Zig Ziglar and what he had had to say on tape. He said, we condition ourselves to be much lesser than what we can actually take. The strength in those words kept me going, and I was going to walk no matter what. No one was going to stop me, so I had to give it my best shot. One of the nurses gave me a drink from across the road. The doctor was so annoyed when he found out about the danger I may have bestowed. In time, I was able to go around in an electronic wheelchair. My accuracy was not good, which left a few people in despair. They took me off the respirator and saw what they couldn't believe. I did what they thought was impossible. Now I could actually breathe. When the doctor found this out, he was really not in the mood. I tried to tell him how I felt, and my next step was to eat some food. But I had to do something first. Talking was the next thing I'd learn. And when I'd gone past that stage, that was when things would turn. The pain, it was quite horrendous. Though I had to do this now, I had to get back into being myself. I knew it would all work out somehow. So I could breathe and I could eat. And now I could also talk. My next step was actually to start to learn to walk. I had done some exercising, and basically I did a lot. It was the only answer of giving it my best shot. I was determined to walk out of hospital on my own 2 feet. Though most of the hospital staff at the time were really not that discreet. I pushed myself to the limit and found to some degree that if you stay quite positive, somehow God will set you free.